Hi there. Welcome to another presentation of the Globe Sound Healing Conference. Now we have Sarah Oxidine. Hi, Sarah.
Hello, David. How are you doing?
Great. Welcome, welcome. Sarah is a transformational and confidence coach, intuitive counselor, energy healer, international speaker, author, and world traveler. She is here to inspire and be inspired, to be a teacher and student of life, love, and happiness. She advocates for the evolution of thought and spirituality of humanity and all beings of the earth. What have you been up to lately?
um, Doing the normal life of a person living on the planet, working, helping people as I go, teaching where I can, and toning where it's allowed for the audience to be.
That's funny you say that. It's like I think everybody should be making the sound of how they feel walking down the street, and it would be much better,
Right.
right? But it would be a much noisier world, but probably much healthier.
That's true because they would be speaking their hearts at that point.
Exactly, exactly. Cool. Okay, here's the big question. If you had all the money in the world, what would you do to help people?
I would create a university of healing. And that University of Healing would incorporate dance, art, martial arts, and sound. Healing for the body, also with massage therapy, because that is very well needed, and healing through different modalities that humans have come up with, which included all the ones I have stated before.
Cool.
That alone would change the understanding of how one is to learn how to heal oneself through movement, sound, and self care. I would do that.
Excellent. Excellent. Cool. It would be really good to get a think tank and really just, yeah. It's interesting. The kind of the biggest problem is would people believe it?
Believe what?
Believe in these healing modalities? I mean,
They
my brother,
already do.
well, my brother in Massachusetts, he goes, "What the hell are you doing that shit for? That sound healing, that's ridiculous." And there's tons of people that don't believe it. I mean, I know people that cure cancer with sound, and people don't believe it.
Right. I I've come across that actually
Yeah,
during my
yeah.
time of healing. Um, I've gone through the world first, healing the lands with sound. And on my travels, I would come across people that needed sound for healing, whether they understood it or not. And my original reaction to this idea, because I didn't even know that idea existed when I began, I would just ask people, can I tone for you? And at the beginning, I did not know what that meant. All I knew is I was following a thought and a feeling that said I needed to tone for a person. And if they agreed for me to tone for them, I would, and sounds would come out of my mouth that I had never heard myself do before. And I was already at the age of 33 when this first occurred. Okay.
What happened to what happened? How did it come about?
Okay. So that's a very interesting story because it was the summer solstice of 2014. During that 3-day transition, you had the summer solstice on the 21st, and the day before and the day after, the energy kind of came into me. I was online with a group of people through what used to be Google Hangouts. So 10 people can come in at a time. So there were 9 people there plus me. And I was in the middle of the conversation and I had just met this group of people 3 days beforehand. And in the middle of a conversation, I felt a jolt of energy hit my body, and it felt like being electrocuted for 20 minutes straight. And then after the 20 minutes, and I was very grateful they were there, because had they not been there, I would have jumped out of my body because I didn't know what was going on. I went into fear and doubt, and I just wanted to leave the body, but they were there to keep me grounded. So I am grateful for them every day. Okay. And it ended, and I said, "Thank you very much. I'm going to bed now." So that's what happened. 2 months later is when I first got my impetus that I needed to tone for someone. And when they said yes, I swear sound came out of my mouth that I didn't even know I can do. I've never heard anybody else can do. And it was on the level of Whitney Houston plus some. And I was shocked.
Were you a singer before?
No, not at all. So you can imagine becoming someone new to yourself at the age of 33 that you had no idea existed within you. So it was sort of like a rite of passage to figure out what it was that I was doing. And so this group of people that I met online, I began to do free healings every Friday at 4 p.m. for about a year and a half of toning and helping people to heal. And they would tell me what was happening in their bodies. So they became my teachers of what it was that I was doing, what they felt, what feelings they experienced, visions, uh, energies going through their bodies, feeling bones release and be put back into place, pain going away, all sorts of things. And I had no clue that's what it was that I was doing until they told me. Okay.
I got an idea. We
Uh-huh.
had, we hadn't talked about this, but you want to do a short one on me?
Okay.
Cool. And then we can talk more about
Okay.
it.
All right. Just get comfortable.
Okay.
Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. And think about the intention that you have for yourself at this time. Breathe in. Hold it at the top to your third eye. And breathe out. Namaste.
Wow. So I was looking to help my thyroid and adrenals in the morning. I felt that. And then I also have a torn vein and nerve in my left neck that I got from breaking out a windshield with my face. But then when you did the high frequencies, it went up into my third eye and crown. I assume it's different sounds for everybody.
Yes.
Mhm.
And when in a group, it's a culmination of the entire group's energy.
So, you know where this is coming from?
The Hathors,
How did you figure that out?
synchronistically, of course.
Yeah, yeah, of course, of course. Tell me, tell me.
um,
Oh, let me explain who the Hathors are in case nobody knows. All right. So the Hathors um, became famous. Actually, they were out in ancient Egypt, and their carvings are all over Egypt. In fact, there's a Hathor temple. But it was quite a few years ago that Tom Kenyon, who's the most famous and most powerful sound healer on the planet, he's got a whole movie about him, was in meditation. And he was a psychotherapist at that point. And these aliens came to him and said that they wanted to write a book through him. And he goes, "Where are you from?" And they go, "Venus." And he goes, "I'm not writing a frickin' book with weirdos from Venus. You'll blow my credibility. I've got a PhD here. Leave me alone." And they kept coming to him over a year. And he says, "Leave me alone." And finally, after a year, uh, uh, publishing company, a woman who ran the publishing company, came to him and said, "You won't believe this, but these aliens came to us and said, we're supposed to publish your book. You can just channel it and we'll help you write it." And he goes, "Okay, fine." And now he actually brings them in all of his workshops. I remember 2007, my first conference, he actually was there. And I felt like I was getting more love than I've ever gotten in my life sitting in the audience with him actually doing the sound. I was like, there was beings all around me loving me. It was really quite incredible. So then about 5 years ago, I'm talking to a psychic, and this psychic says, "The Hathors are here, Dave. I've never seen them before." I'm like, "Oh, I know them. They've shown up at the school. They're really tall. They're 12 feet tall." I've had students go, "What's that 12 feet tall being in the back of the room, Dave?" "Oh, it's Hathors. It's Hathors." Right. And I said, "What do they want?" And the psychic said, "They want to build a super highway between your pituitary and hypothalamus. I'm sorry, pituitary, hypothalamus, and pineal gland." And I'm like, "Oh, wow. Okay, go for it." And now my intuition has gone off the charts and my voice got an octave lower. Now I can go, "Oh." I got a whole octave I can work with down there now. But
yes.
commonly I get downloads. I've got this site, she's been tracking them, and she'll say, "Oh yeah, the reason you're tired, they're giving you new frequencies. You can tell them to stop if you want." And I'm like, "Okay, go for it." And so they will take a break ever so often, and then they'll come back and do a little more over the last 5 years, right? And so um, it's really they're Tom Kenyon channels them every couple of months and gets downloads from them, and it's really incredible information that is often very humorous, but also exactly how to be able to deal with the challenges we have on this planet right now. And it's really,
Right.
they're really beautiful, really. And then there's the book, the Hathor material he wrote, which is just a total trip to read. It's like totally fun. So that's the Hathors. Okay, so how did you know they were the Hathors?
Well, it was interesting because one of the people that I met, with that group of people that I met in 2014 online, and I had never been a part of any online group before that, by the way. Um, Her name was Roxanne Swain Hart, and she usually channels a being called Opsiphius, who is a star constellation. Okay. Now, one day she channeled the Hathors. And for some reason, I became super happy, super excited that day because I tend to take a walk in the evenings in the entire neighborhood, or I go to the park and walk. And the entire time of my walk, I am chanting, Hathors, Hathors, Hathors. I'm literally super, super, super excited just hearing the word Hathor or the frequency of them talking. And I think it was a month later, I began to ask people to tone for them without knowing what that meant, of course. But I would ask because it was strange to me. I've never heard anybody say, Hey, can I tone for you? Really? Have you gone up to anybody and said, Hey, I feel the need to tone for you. Can I do it?
Well, around here, that's a little bit different. The school here, but in public, no.
In public. Yes, in public. Random strangers. I didn't know them. They didn't know me. And if they agreed, I did so. In their houses, in group settings, I did events. And if it was just for the planet, I did it for the planet. I would go to places and people said, We've been waiting for you. I went to Ireland and there was a couple from Australia who had been traveling the world to clear the energies of the planet. And when I arrived at, what is this place? Tower Hill in Ireland, they were already there. And when they saw me, they said, We've been waiting for you. We've cleared the energy. And I automatically went into toning for the land. So I was not taught this by any outside force on this planet Earth outside of my higher self, God. This was an inner calling. And I had no representation of this in my field of influence on planet Earth when this happened for me.
Excellent. I could say, if people listening think this is too out there, just don't tell anybody, right?
Oh, I tell everybody, I don't care.
No, 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 people listening. Yeah, yeah, if it's too much for them. Yeah. Cool. Oh my God. I've been getting so many downloads in the last 5 years as to, I mean, the psychic, she said, you have uh, the projects you're working on, the beings on the other side are more interested in them than you are. And she said all the funds you're going to need and all the people you need are going to show up. I said, do I have to get out of bed? And she says, no, don't even have to get out of bed. Right.
Really?
And it's totally happening. We've got like total funding for a new medical system and a new educational system.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's kind of what I've been dreaming about for the last 20 years.
Oh, tell me more.
Seriously. Um, I think I was about the age of 20, really. And for some reason, I got into my mind that I was going to help to build the best word I could come up to it at that time was empire. That was the best word I could come because it was so big all around the planet. It was just huge. All right. But that was the word that I understood
It's so
at
funny.
that time.
My best friend calls what I'm doing Empire all the time.
Really.
Yeah, it's so funny. Go ahead. Go ahead though.
So during that time, I began to get ideas and pictures of what it would look like, what would it entail, um, what classes would be given in this place that I would build, what services would be offered, the land, how it would be cultivated, that sort of thing. The working with the land with sound, that sort of thing. And I didn't understand how it was going to happen. I still don't know. I'm allowing of it, but it was just something that was in my mind. I would write it down here and there, and I would just keep going with it, just keep writing. Every time a thought popped up in my head, and I say, oh, we can use this, we can use that. So it was just something that just kept building upon itself, like having a system where you can get water from the sea and use that water, take out the salt, and use that water to actually power cities,
I just saw an article.
desalination plants.
I saw an article just last week. They've discovered a way to desalinate water with 1/100th of the energy that it takes now.
Exactly.
Just last week.
Because right now we are using way too much energy
Mm-hmm.
in order to desalinate water, where water is all over the planet. So no one should lack for water at all. Also, you can use the hydrogen from water to power cities. Also, you can use that same water to help to heal the land and heal the people. So there's so many uses just from that aspect of water and the energy of it and the information that comes from the water itself. So I'm learning these things as I go. I have no one to talk to about it. It's just within me.
I love it. I have a friend. So what I do, just while we're talking about water, because this could lead to a possibility, is I actually haven't drunk water out of the faucet for over 15 years.
I haven't either.
I go to springs. If you go to findaspring.com, they have a list of springs all over the world that you can actually go and get water right out of the rocks, right?
Hmm.
And so I have this place I go, and then I put it through a vortex spinner that electromagnetically charges it in a spiral vortex. And
Nice.
then I put it in a hydrogenator to add hydrogen to it. And then my friend uh, actually transmitted frequencies just for me into 3 different flasks. He had to have the GPS to be able to do it, and he put frequencies with his mind into these 3 flasks, 4 different issues I have, and I put the water in the flask, and it totally puts those frequencies into the water for me.
It does.
Yeah, and it's like my friend got the same thing going, same thing, and he actually he couldn't open his fist for years. It was stuck,
Hmm.
and he was like just shuffling along. He couldn't walk. His fist is completely open, and he's walking perfectly. I mean,
Yeah.
this. We could easily down the line have very specific frequencies for your template of perfection of you.
That is true. And I've worked with that idea as well. However, I have come to the understanding that it is that the best frequency you could possibly hear is from someone tapping into your frequency in the moment where your body is being healed through the sound from the human being. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
Like
let me
in
ask you. Actually, you said tapping into your frequency. Are you talking about your soul frequency? Or are you talking about? I actually have been finding people's physical body frequency for 15 years. Your
yes,
metabolism, where you're at peace in
yes.
your body when you're at peace. And it's actually a rhythm. It's an average of your heart rate and brainwave rate, which you don't have to average. And that's the body. But the soul frequency knows more.
Okay, so each tone has a frequency that can connect to different parts of the body. Let's start there. So you have your lower tones that can reach to your root chakra, and you have your higher tones that go up all the way to your crown and star chakra. Okay. You can actually use tones to pinpoint any problems or in the organs that you may have to break up anything within the body, to release any constrictions or pain within the body. So that's just at the physical level, okay? Cellular level. Then you have it at the auric level with your electromagnetic frequency, your aura. You can help to heal the different frequencies in that, okay, with sound. You can do it with machinery or you can do it with someone connecting to you right then and there. Um, like something that I do with the tones, with my voice. I connect to your frequency right then and there as you are in front of me or anywhere across the planet. As long as we can talk to each other, I can connect to your frequency and help you. Or because you help yourself, but I'm just a catalyst for that, of course.
So is the frequency of the auric body?
Yes, the frequency of the auric body, there's
Hmm.
that.
Okay.
Then there's the frequency of the soul. So you can connect to that to help to bring the soul more into the body because it's already there. It's just your awareness of it is not there. And so it's bringing your mind and your body and your spirit more aligned with each other because all of it is already there. There's only oneness, there's no separation.
My soul frequency is D sharp.
It's funny for someone like me who has never been taught music
Uh-huh.
to be able to speak in this way because I don't know. I've heard people say D sharp, A sharp, F sharp. I even have a cousin. She is a master in sound and frequency when it comes to machineries, pianos, drums, all of it. She is a composer. Lovely. And when I started toning for her to help to be the catalyst for her to heal, she would tell me which frequencies I was using just from hearing it. She would say it's A, it's C, it's F.
uh,
And I'm like, I have no clue what any of that means.
yeah, you don't need to.
I don't
So,
need
okay, what about the frequency of source?
the frequency of source is an interesting one because it includes all frequencies.
Oh, that's exactly what I tell people too. It's all frequency. It's all. Source is God is all frequencies.
All
and
frequencies
and we
and
are
one frequency.
right. We are all of them.
Yes, we are all frequencies if we allow ourselves to understand what that means. If you were to tell someone you are everything and nothing, they would ask you, what are you talking about? That sounds crazy.
Not in California.
California's a little different place. I lived there for 2 years. It's okay. There's a lot of people looking for enlightenment in every single way you could possibly imagine. Okay. So it's all there. They're looking for it, but it's within them. It's all there. And I love it. All right. So, yeah. So the frequency of source includes everything on this planet, all human beings, all animal, all nature, because nature has frequency as well, and it talks. Animals, land, mountains, waters, all of it has frequency. Space, the void itself, planets, stars, galaxies, all of it contain frequency.
Okay, how about instead of the frequency of the soul, what about the song of the soul?
The song of the soul, that is the song you sing from your mouth. Your own vibration, using your own vibration to heal your own body. And that is the frequency of your soul.
Have you heard people's soul songs before?
Of course, I hear it every day.
Oh, what's my soul song?
The one you're speaking right now.
Yeah.
Because it is your unique sound.
hmm
The
the
thought
song I
that
sing.
comes with the sound
The song I sing.
to yourself.
hmm
So I can help you along with that. I can connect to it, but there's no one who's going to sing that sound better than you.
I love that. I love that.
Okay? So I've never been asked that question, but that is the answer that came right there because that's what it is. But most people don't really realize that they can use their own sound for their own healing.
Mhm. I've had so many stories of students healing massive issues with their own voice on themselves.
Exactly.
I had this one
This is
woman,
the point.
she fell off a house and had pain down her leg for 10 years and then simply made the sound of the pain and it went away forever.
Yes. So even the cry has its role to play in your body.
Hmm.
There were years I did not cry for perception of how it would look to someone else. I'm supposed to be brave. I'm supposed to be strong. These types of ideas. That doesn't really serve you because if you need to cry, cry.
I'm a crybaby. I mean, I look for sad movies so I can cry. It feels
Just
so
so you can
good. It's like the
Of
best thing.
course, it's a
I,
release.
yeah, the people go, "Oh, are you okay?" I'm like, "Okay, if you'd be quiet and let me cry." Yes, yeah,
Yes, even in the cry, even
yeah.
in the release of the tears, the frequency of the salt within your tears heal you because
Mm,
you've just released that energy from your body. That's a healing point, a healing method that your body naturally does.
excellent.
So it's just a matter of remembering that your body is an intelligent being in and of itself. It is very conscious. Your organs, your cells, your bones, they all speak to each other. If they didn't, you would be just as flat on the ground. Okay. They're all communicating. They're all making sound. And they're all telling each other like what's necessary. They're creating new sounds every moment. And so you can have machinery to duplicate the sound of someone's body, and that's useful. Even bowls, even gongs, all these things, even rice moving across a bed of a metal sheet. Okay? I've seen all sorts of ways to make sounds. All of it is lovely and all of it is correct. But to have a catalyst to use sound in the moment standing right in front of you, that would be the frequency that helps you in that moment, in that time. That's why we need more people to discover that they have this capability to make that sound for themselves.
You know, one thing I've found that's really simple, that's quite good to start with, is to make the mellowest, most peaceful sound you can.
Mm. Can you, can I tell you what just happened?
Yes.
You made a sound I did not hear. However, I felt the energy of that sound.
Oh, you didn't hear it. Oh,
Okay?
what did you feel?
I see light vibrations within the sound that was unheard by me. It comes and it goes. It starts in darkness and then I start to see colors. Okay? So even if a sound that you give off is not heard by another, the intention is actually felt by that person or being.
Nice. That sound was actually lower than computer speakers go. So people can play it back with headphones and they would hear it.
Very well. But
Wow.
I'm letting you know, even if you weren't heard, you were still felt.
Yeah, the energy, as I always say, the energy behind the sound
Yes,
is even more important than the sound.
yes. However, the sound, just like I am, is a catalyst for change and self process. You process it and then you use that sound, that mechanism to help yourself to heal your body.
Nice.
So it depending on your thought process, depending on your energetics at that moment, depending on your intentions in that moment, there's a lot that can be done and it changes with each thought or feeling that you have.
Nice. You know, I always thought it'd be nice to get a room full of intuitives that are doing sound for people and then map it all out as to the frequencies they do for
Mm.
different issues and then go in the lab and test those and see what we come up with.
I shy away from saying one sound fits all.
Well, there's certain sounds that are personal, and then
Yes,
there's sounds that are global, like the sound of source.
Yes.
That's pretty global, right?
Yes.
And so if you're working on a specific issue, I bet you it's going to be different, but I bet you there's going to be a range, is my guess. Maybe not. Maybe, because the problem is, that makes it the wild card are emotions. I mean, if
Yes.
you got a physical issue, I mean, 80% of the time it's emotionally based, and emotions are like all over the board frequency wise.
Yes, they are. Even the laugh is all over the place frequency
Right,
wise.
right. I mean, anxiety is a high frequency, right? I mean, it's like, and then there's despair. I mean, they're like, and then they're just because they're not just frequencies; they're a flow system. Let it flow. Let it go. Let it go. Right?
Yes.
Yeah,
I my
yeah.
my favorite quote is that even if the frequency gets off, there are some people they like to sing and they like to sing in a balanced tone and you can't crack your voice. And I tell people that sometimes you need the crack in order for the body to heal.
Wow.
So
Which is
use the
really,
crack for healing.
which is also about letting go of being perfect on pitch and letting go
Yes.
of all fear and trusting that whatever's going to come out of your mouth is perfect.
Yes.
That's so huge. There's so
Yes.
much fear with people making any sound with their voice. So
Well,
many
we've been
people.
taught to be quiet most
I
of
know.
our lives
I
as children.
shh,
Be
shh,
quiet. You're too
shh.
loud.
Yeah. And then school is like no more sound.
Yes. You have to be quiet for a very long period of time and listen to somebody else prattle along about nothing. You're supposed to be quiet even if you have a question about some idea that they're trying to teach you that makes no sense to you.
Right, right, right.
I'm not saying all teachers are like that. No,
Cool.
I am saying that there are you're quite correct about you're forced to be quiet when that is not natural. Nothing in nature is quiet.
Yeah. As babies, we had it down. If you had anything going on, you let it out with
Exactly.
zero thought as to whether anybody thought it was right or wrong. It's just like,
Exactly.
wah, wah. Right. It's just,
You just did not care, right?
right, at all.
And then we find ourselves becoming these very quiet beings, afraid of being seen and heard.
And the emotional blockage becomes a physical blockage.
This is the point. And so for me to even ask anybody, can I atone for you? That was a big step. Like that was just so out of the blue, so out of the ordinary for me because I'd rather be quiet in everybody else's midst just to listen to what they have to say and to understand it and to be able to respond back the correct way. Because most people are speaking, and when they speak to each other, they're not even having the same conversation. So you have to connect to the frequency of what they're saying correctly in order to respond correctly so that there won't be any misunderstandings.
Right, right. Well, good job getting over that fear and going for
Yes.
it.
And then I just continued. If anybody asks me, "Oh, you're a healer, you can do this?" I say, "Yes." And then I do it.
Cool. Okay, so you want to do sound for the group or just the whole planet? Or maybe we'll just do the whole universe.
Oh boy. You're gonna if you ask me to do it for the whole universe, there's gonna be sounds most people never even heard.
Oh boy. Okay, let's do the whole universe then.
There's gonna be things that be like, is she even human? And my answer is yes and no.
Whatever you think.
All right. Let's breathe.
Oh,
One more time, and we are breathing for the entire universe. Namaste.
Just wow. Thank you for what you do and
Mhm.
who you are. Anything else to share, or should we just end in silence?
After things like this, I usually like to leave people in silence because the energies are still flowing to them and to myself and all around. And it continues to do its work throughout their day and in their sleep. And it fills them with anything that they would like.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Yes. Thank you.